What's up, you guys? My name is Brittany Miller, your real estate investor bestie, here to help you break down what you need to do before ever putting an offer on a house. So just to give you a little insight on who I am, my name is Brittany Miller. I am a licensed real estate agent in Texas, and I am a short-term rental host on Airbnb, VRBO, and Booking.com. I also help the majority of my clients find and launch their own short-term rental property in Texas, mostly in the Waco, Texas area. Something I have seen before, never dealt with it personally because I do my research, is a lot of people like to find a house, send it my way, and say, this would be the cutest Airbnb, let's put an offer in on it. And I always have to tell people, let's pump the brakes, because there is a list of things that we need to do before we ever put an offer on the house. And I'm going to go through all of these steps with you right now. Step number 1, we always want to go to the city that we're looking at's website first and foremost to see what are their regulations whenever it comes to short-term rental. If you are unclear when reading through their website, I would reach out to somebody with the city, find out who is in charge of their short-term rental regulations, try to get in contact with them, get a phone number, get an email, and ask them specifically and have a conversation, because you do not want to be wasting time going through finding houses that aren't even going to be allowed to use as a short-term rental. There are some cities, such as Dallas, that is very, very strict. Not to say that you can't sometimes find a diamond in the rough in a house that can somehow pass to a short-term rental, but it is very, very difficult because the city is so strict on allowing short-term rental properties within its city limits. There are other areas like Waco that are not as strict, but do still have regulations that you need to follow. The worst thing you could do is buy a house and then go to launch it as an Airbnb and realize the city doesn't even allow it to operate, and you just wasted all that money. So always do your research, and always, number 1, go to the city's official website to figure out what their rules are. Now, to give you an example of what most cities have that do allow short-term rentals, is it's going to be broken down by zoning. So I work in the Waco city limits a lot, so you're going to see me reference them a lot, but of course just plug this into whatever city you are looking at. Waco specifically is an area that does allow short-term rentals, but it has to be specific zoning. That zoning for Waco is O1, O2, O3, R2, and they do have a couple of others, but I don't want to overwhelm you with all of them just yet. So we're going to go off those 4 zonings. Those are allowed to be a short-term rental property. O1, O2, O3 have 0 restrictions. So as long as that home that we find is zoned within one of those 3, we don't have to do anything else other than get it certified to list as a short-term rental property. Of course, there might be some regulations such as having handrails on the stairs or having a sensor to windows that go out to a pool. These are going to vary by city to city, but there are going to be regulations, but there's no restrictions in terms of launching it as a short-term rental. Now, R2, again, this is Waco specific, cannot be within 500 foot of another R2 short-term rental certified property. So if there is another property in that same zoning that is already certified and operating as a short-term rental, just because it's R2, you can't use it. I know that might sound overwhelming, but you're going to want to know these rules because it's going to save you a lot of time and money before just jumping in and hoping for the best. So, first thing we're going to do, always want to check the city website to make sure that they do allow short-term rentals and what their restrictions might be, specifically their zoning. 2, find that zoning, figure out what properties within those zonings are even eligible to operate within a short-term rental. Number 3, so now we found a house that's in the right zoning, we can operate as a short-term rental per the city, and we're ready to go. So we should just put an offer on and then buy it, right? No, we still want to do a little bit more research to make sure that our investment is going to shake out the way we want. First thing that we want to do is take that property address to AirDNA. There are some freebies you can get from using AirDNA, but if you're really trying to dive into a specific market, I would suggest you find or purchase the premium version because you're going to get a lot more information. What AirDNA does, and I'll pop it up on the screen here so that you can get a little view of it. AirDNA is basically going to give you all the market research of that area, showing you what other short-term rentals in that property are performing, what the average daily rate is, what the guest occupancy is, and so much more. So then you can look at that specific address and figure out, okay, is this a property that is going to perform enough to give me the ROI needed for whatever its purchase price is? Or is it going to underperform and I'm likely not going to make my money back? These are all questions you need to ask yourself as an investor to make a smart investment and make sure we are getting that return on our investment. Now, whenever you get those numbers on AirDNA, it doesn't always mean, oh, that's what it is, and maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe we look at a property and that average daily rate isn't going to be enough. So you can look at it and think, well, it is still in a good area. It feels like it's in a safe area. What are some things that I can do to that property to add to it to make people want to come? Maybe that's add a pool. Maybe it's add a hot tub. Maybe it's adding a state-of-the-art gym. Looking at the area that you are having your short-term rental in, what are people going there for? Are they going for fun adventure parks like Disney World, Disneyland, Six Flags, something like that? So maybe they're going to be spending all day running around with their kids and just being wore out. Great. Maybe that hot tub or a sauna or a nice relaxing bath and a spa-like features throughout the house are going to help you to have people that want to come and stay there because they're going to know that's going to be really useful after I'm running around that theme park all day. This is how you have to think as an investor to bring in clients. Yes, I know the quote, if you build it, they will come, but you really do have to build something amazing that makes your guests look at it and think, I will spend whatever this place is charging because I know I am going to have such a great experience there. So these are some things that you want to do before you ever put an offer in on a house. Another key tip I'm going to give you is connect with a local realtor who specializes in short-term rental properties. I can't tell you how many real estate agents have no idea about the short-term rental regulations in a city they might be very familiar with. So do your research. Find somebody that is going to help you be able to find that house, me, and go for it. But be ready to do all the research because, again, you can't just blindly do an investment and hope that it is going to help generate passive income. First thing we've got to do is our research always. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Again, my name is Brittany Miller. Be sure to like and follow here if you enjoyed this video. And also go give my Instagram a follow as well for more daily content. You can find me there at B&B with Britt. Bye.